Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the new Cetitan in the Ultra League. Of course, Ultra League is currently not available, so we're going to be forced to do some friendly battles here. I'm going to test this Pokemon out tomorrow as well for the Holiday Cup, but currently, for me, of course, it's only available in raids, and so the CP of any kind of raid Pokemon, like any kind of Cetitan from raids, is always going to be above 1,500. So we're going to have some test battles here for the Ultra League. Hope you enjoyed this kind of content. Please, if you do, subscribe and leave a like on the channel. Currently, Pokemon Go YouTube is going downhill with the game as well, but I still hope you enjoy this type of content. I'm very appreciative of everybody who is there, but still, let's take a look at the team. Honestly, I should have most likely built a little bit of a better team, but I had a very stressful uni day, so I'm sorry, like, this team still worked out super well, like, don't get me wrong, but there are going to be some holes for the team that is maybe not ideal. We're going to have the Poliwrath in the lead, which is going to be cool. One hole directly that you can see would be Jellicent. Jellicent is okay for our Greedent, but for our lead as well as for Cetitan, it's not going to be the best Pokemon. But yeah, still, I kind of want to have the backline of Greedent plus the Titan plus a lead that's going to be able to deal with Steel-type Pokemon, because the Titan is not really great against Steel-type, but you know what the Titan is good against? It's good against the Dragonite, and we will see it here as well. Superpower is coming through. We can go for the full farm down, and as you can see, easy farm down with Ice Shard here from Cetitan. Moveset is actually kind of cool. Body Slam plus Avalanche is going to be nice, and the first battle already going to be a full sweep from Cetitan here, so good game. They are going to go for the farm down now and wins this game. Next battle coming up here, we're going to have the Skeledirge in the lead. This is going to be an okay lead for us, as we're going to be able to resist the Incinerate. But of course, they're going to have the super effective move of Disarming Voice against us, so we're going to be forced to go for a shield immediately. But they decided to go for the Shadow Ball, which I find kind of interesting. I would go for the Disarming Voice. The difference is not that huge, like Shadow Ball still does, I think, a little bit more damage, but Disarming Voice is going to be a little bit better in general. Maybe they're running Crunch, which I saw a little bit in the Holiday Cup as well. But let's take a look here at this battle as well. We're going to encounter one of the bigger issues as well for this team, which is going to be in general fighting type Pokemon, because Poliwrath can do some neutral scenarios with them, but like in general it's not the best anti-fighting type either, and we're going to have a backline that's very weak to fighting types. You could go for Jellicent lead as well, but I just wasn't in the mood for Jellicent, I have to say. I kind of want to have some fun quick battles with something stronger and something shitter, so I went for the more entertaining version of this kind of team with the Poliwrath. While Jellicent does make more sense, Poliwrath is just way more fun to play, like, don't get me wrong. Jellicent is really strong, but it is very, very bulky and very, very lame in my opinion. But it's still a very solid Pokemon. Used it recently in the Holiday Cup as well. Check out the video for it. Really strong Pokemon that's really underrated currently. But let's take a look here at the avalanche damage there from the Cetitan, doing nearly all of the health of the Ampharos. And like this, we're going to be able to go back into our Greedent, and we just have to reach basically 2 crunches. I'm gonna go for my first crunch here, and we're gonna see that the opponent gonna get a defense drop, so I decide to go for the Body Slam, hoping that this is going to be already enough, but it is not. But I still have a shield, I should be good here, right? Well, let's take a look at this. They're already having 2 Disarming Voices at this point, and so can we still survive this one? We can move on to the next game. This next game was definitely something that I could have played a little bit better. Shouts to the opponent for bringing a Zekrom into the Great League, into the Ultra League. I wish that we're gonna get like something like Dialga and Zekrom and stuff like this for the Great League. Would be so much fun. But yeah, as you can see here, Zekrom is going to be an interesting Pokemon. Pretty bad against my entire team, but yeah, honestly, I maybe should have paid a little bit more attention to the battle, because I did not actually realize the opponent threw against my Greedent. I'm not sure if they had another charge move stored as well, but they went for the crunch there, which is kind of wild. Here we're going to have the matchup for the Tapu Fini, which is actually okay for our Greedent. It's basically the best matchup that we could have for this kind of Pokemon. And I definitely should have used a shield here, which I don't think I did. I thought it was just a Surf, but it was a Moonblast, which kind of caught me off guard. Surfer still would have been able to survive and then basically get the opponent into farm down range from my Pokemon. But with the Moonblast coming through, it was not really ideal. And yeah, I kind of misplayed this a little bit here. I should have not went for the shield here. I thought that I would go at too low or whatever, but I definitely shouldn't have went for the shield. That would have not been really the hardest hitting move either with a Surf. So a little bit of a mistake there. And now we're going to see a Golisopod, which is sadly a core breaker for our team. Golisopod breaks the Poliwrath plus the Cetitan. So this is going to be a little bit tricky. I still get to a Scald here, which is kind of nice. I would appreciate a debuff for sure, but we don't get it. So that's fine. We can still have to deal with it. I'm going to let this move go through. The liquidation comes through, gets the debuff immediately. Honestly, I think this debuff really mattered here, because the opponent didn't have the energy on the Zekrom anymore. I would have been able to most likely farm down here if I didn't go for the charge move, but I guess like my health was too low anyway, and I think I still had a chance there, but yeah, imagine I would have got the Scald debuff there. But let's move on to the next game. Next opponent, we're going to have a Poliwrath in the lead. Shadow Poliwrath versus Shadow Poliwrath. I hope I won't see him P-tie off to attack here, but the opponent makes the choice of going into the Cresselia, which allows me to go for a Scald, and we're gonna get the attack drop, and this is amazing. Because like this, I can go into my Greedent, and Greedent has a great matchup already against Cresselia, but with the attack drop, look how little this Moonblast did, and I can go for the Crunch, which I'm gonna get to way faster than the opponent, and we will be able to put them into basically the range for another Crunch afterwards, which is just really good for me. Moonblast coming through is gonna get me to around half of my health, but I can go for a Crunch on the CMP tie. This should be enough to knock them out, and so we're going to be able to get out of this matchup with a Body Slam stored, with half of my health and realignment, which is just amazing. So thank God for the debuff of Scald in the beginning, definitely changed the meta, like the matchup here a little bit more. They're gonna go for the Icy Wind, which I actually like because I can still go for a Body Slam, and with that I kinda get the damage onto the opponent that I can farm down hopefully with my own Poliwrath. Sadly, I lose the CMP tie and I decide to no-shield this, which was really wise by me because it's going to be the Icy Wind. Now we have to see what they're going to run in the back. Final Pokemon is going to be a Drapion. Cetitan is going up against a Drapion now. Let's see how much an Avalanche does against a Shadow Drapion in the Ultra League from Cetitan. Of course, I get the debuff immediately, so I'm going to be forced to go for a shield here, but I can go straight for the Avalanche, and Avalanche it is. Let's take a look at this. Boom. Oh, I'm gonna get the shield, but it doesn't matter because we're still going to have another one, and so this Avalanche is going to just completely annihilate the Drapion, and we can move on to the next game. Next opponent coming up, well, let's take a look at what they're going to run. Shoutouts to everybody who battled me, by the way. I'm really thankful for this. Of course, people from Twitter, they most likely knew that I would run the Cetitan, but I think they just played whatever they wanted to play. I didn't really see a team where I was like, oh, this looks really hard counter for Cetitan, all the Pokemon or whatever. But so, shoutouts to all of you. Feel like everything was kind of normal Ultra League battles, which I always like. So, shoutouts to you. Very meta teams, but also very good teams that are just balanced and should be also working out in the Ultra League for you guys. So definitely good teams for the opponents. Here we're going to be able to go for the Icy Wind to guarantee the debuff onto the opponent's attack from the Cresselia, which is going to be great for me. The Grass Knot is coming through, doesn't really do any damage, but I can go for the super effective Crunch again, and Greedent is doing Greedent things. Honestly, this Pokemon is so insane in the current Ultra League meta. The most annoying, most spammiest Pokemon that you've ever seen. Like, it is just mad. We're going to see that the opponent can still go for the Grass Knot against us. I don't really care too much. We can go for the Crunch, and this Crunch is going to be able to get some damage onto the opponent. We can go for a Body Slam. Hopefully it's going to be enough to knock them out. But it is not. They still have 1 HP, but somehow they didn't get the move off, which I definitely take, but was kind of unfortunate for the opponent, I guess. But we can go for a Body Slam against them, and they're going to use a shield here. They cannot counter me down. They have to go for a charge move first. I'm not sure why they didn't go for the Icy Wind. Icy Wind would have definitely been enough. As you're going to see here against the opponent, that Icy Wind is enough, but in this case, of course, in a different matchup. But we're going to see in the back, it's going to be the Giratina, and Cetitan is going to feast from this thing. Like, going to completely chunk it down with the Ice Shot. Avalanche is coming in immediately. Let's take a look at how much damage it's going to do against a Dragon type. And honestly, it's just wild how much damage Avalanche is going to do here, of course. But also still kind of shows how bulky Giratina is. Doesn't matter, farm them down, win the game with a 2-shield flex. Next opponent coming in, let's take a look what they're going to run. We're going to have a horrible lead of the Cresselia against our Poliwrath. So we're going to be able to swap out onto the charge move, which is going to be most likely the best thing that I could do. But this was actually complete hard counter matchup. But honestly, I'm kind of, like, you're going to see it as well at the end. Like, definitely stay tuned for the end game of this battle here, because it was most likely the most insane one of them all. I'm still kind of happy on how I played this game, so definitely stay tuned for this. We're going to see the focus boss coming in. We're going to be able to still survive that, and honestly, like, take a look at Greedent. And you can't tell me that this Pokemon is not absolutely madness. Like, what is this here? We're going to see the Crunch coming through. Still going to get them low, but we're not going to die here. We're going to be able to still go for a Body Slam. Like, this little squirrel is just completely destroying the opponent. Getting the shield here, I can go for the Icy Wind, which is now going to be able to knock them out. So they're forced to use a shield, and they do use a shield, allowing me to use a shield as well against them. They're going to go for the Zap Cannon, and I can now try to swap out into my Cetitan immediately because, oh, they're going to go into the Cresselia, and and I can swap out now with a move stored. Let's see what they're going to run in the back. It's going to be the Regirock, so completely hardwalled. This is going to be a little bit of a trickier one, but honestly, you're going to see it as well. Like, if I knew my Poliwrath a little bit more, I didn't play it. I think I had one team so far with Shadow Poliwrath with it since the move update. I would have played this matchup a little bit differently, but take a look at this. I make actually a great play here. I farm up to 2 Avalanches instead of going for mine straight, because I know that I would have not been able to knock them out, but like this, I can still go for an Avalanche against the opponent's Cresselia, getting them low, and now I have a 50% chance of winning this game because this was a CMP tie, which is even better for us, because as you're going to see now, I can go for the Scald. If this gets a debuff, I win this game. And I don't. And the issue is here, as you're going to see how much damage the opponent does with the Moonblast, if I went for 2 Icy Winds, I would have been able to win this game. My own mistake, could have just avoided the chance, but yeah, it was more likely for me to win this one. But let's move on into the final game of today. We're going to encounter most likely the worst possible lead here. This Pokemon is countering the entire team, so we have to play a little bit more creative, I would say. We're going to use a shield here onto the Mud Bomb so we know exactly how much energy they have and the one they want to throw, and I think they want to throw when I get to the Scald. So what do? We're going to swap out against the Fighting type into my normal type to soak up. The Shadow Ball here does basically nothing, especially with the resistance, and I can go for even a Body Slam here. So Switch Lock is unaligned, which is amazing for me, and I can now also get a little bit of an advantage here with my Greedent. And what we see here is kind of interesting, and you're going to see also how I'm going to play this matchup out. Because Licky is actually a good matchup for Greedent, but I kinda think that Greedent with energy has a lot of play later on if the opponent swaps into this Pokemon. So what I decided to do here is, yes, you can see, I'm not going to throw a charge move, I'm just gonna swap out and store 100 energy, or like at this point I think it was 99 energy on my Greedent, so I can use that later on. And you will see definitely later how much this had an impact here. Like, we're going to see as well, Body Slam coming through, going to knock me out. I don't really mind too much, but I can go into my Cetitan now, and they're going to have a Lapras in the back. Shadow Lapras is going to be okay. What I actually forgot at this point is that the opponent actually swapped here. I thought that the other Pokemon, the Licky went down. So they're switch locked in this Pokemon while I'm still in an okay spot. I'm not switch locked for too long. As you can see here now, the Greedent is coming back. And you're gonna see the madness of Greedent. Like, honestly, this Pokemon is just so insane. Like, if you haven't built a Greedent yet, for sure something that you should try to go for. You can even buddy it and get the XL Candy like this if you still don't have them. Because, like, with a Puffin, only half of a kilometer to get the XL Candy, I think, for it. But maybe I'm wrong with it, but I think I'm not. And here we can see the Body Slam spam is just absolutely madness, and we can just win this game now with a Cetitan. And this is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed this early showcase for Cetitan, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, would really support me. And also check out the video on the screen. See you then. Bye bye.